Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is a bonus episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you know how we just call the show Online Marketing Moves. We're coming to you live today. Today is a Sunday. This podcast has been recorded yesterday, but it's going to upload on Sunday. And today is going to be purely inspirational. Today is only going to be no strategy, no none of that. Today is just going to be inspiration. Today is going to be about pulling off an upset. You know what an upset is? It's we all know what they are. If you watch sports, there's been plenty of examples of this. I'll give you one. I'll give you a good one. I'll give you a real good one. It's not well known, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I was watching the Atlanta Falcons play. It was a Sunday, and the Falcons they terrible season. They were having a god awful season, and they went all the way out to the West Coast. They went to San Francisco to play the 49ers. And the 49ers at that point was rocking and rolling. They were on their way to the Super Bowl, I believe. And the Falcons were like 2-something. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I thought, well, the Falcons are definitely going to lose this game. But for some reason, I sat there and watched. And the Falcons started off. It's very slow. They didn't look, but something just sort of happened. They just stuck around. And they stuck around. And they stuck around. They hung in there. And they hung in there, and they battled, and it was the best game that I've seen. Even when the Falcons were like really good, it was the best game I've probably ever seen them play. Not because they were execution and all this, but just because they hung around. They hung around. They kept in the fight, and eventually they won the game. It was a low scoring game. It was a very ugly game, but it was one of the best games I ever watched. And I was like, wow, the Falcons really pulled off that upset, and I was like, great game, and it got me to thinking yesterday. The reason why I bring this up is because, have you ever tried to do something that you thought was impossible? Have you ever tried to do anything that you thought, how can I pull this off? And then you get into the middle of it, and it starts to happen, and you're like, wow, I'm really pulling this off. Hold on, wait a minute. This might actually work. This could be something. And I'll give you an example out of my life. When I was 15, I believe I was 15 or 16, one or two. I used to go away to this program in the summertime when I was in high school. It was for people trying to go to college or whatever. And so I would go. It was like sort of like a camp. You would go learn stuff, a lot of stuff like that. But when I was 15 or 16, I was kind of a slub. I didn't really, I don't think girls weren't that interested in me. I was interested in them, but they wasn't that interested in me. And, they were not a big deal, but I remember I saw this girl. And at the time, way before I met my wife, ladies and gentlemen, I met this girl. And at that time, up until that point in my life, she's probably the prettiest girl I ever saw. Okay? She was beautiful. And I was smitten from the word go. Okay? And it was like, wow, what am I going to do? And so, in my mind, I said, you know what? I'm going to pull off a coup, like a bank robbery, And I said, the mission, I'm going to steal her heart, I said, it's a lot of people here. It's a lot of people going to be vying for her attention. But I said, I'm going to win her over. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I devised the plan, came up with the plan. I started, and this is one of the biggest upsets that I ever saw. Because if you was doing Vegas odds, the odds of me getting this girl to know me, to get this girl to getting liking me, would be 100-1. You know what I mean? Not exaggerating. I wasn't no bad looking chump or nothing like that, but girls, I didn't really when you're 15 or 16, you got to have, physical or, something or boisterous or something like that to sort of get attention of the female, of the opposite sex, And I didn't have any of that going on. I was pretty quiet, pretty shy, didn't say a whole lot, but something happened. And one of the things that I did every day was I showed up. I never took a day off in my pursuit. I never wavered. I never slacked. In my mind, nothing was impossible. In my mind, it was one of those things where I said, I'm going to win this girl. And I had that. This is probably the most up until that point in my life. This is probably the most confidence that I ever had. And it was, I don't know where it came from. It was not me. I don't know if it was an out of body experience or what at that time, but for me, I just told myself, if I show up, I'm going to win her over. And I don't know why I had these thoughts. I don't know what was going on, but I showed up every day. I came to work. I put in the work. I put in the time. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to the point where she liked me, okay? And something happened. She had to go away, but that's not the point. The point is, I got to the point where she liked me. I got to the point where she wanted to give me a shot. I got to the point to where, I didn't make it official. I couldn't finish it off. I needed one more day, but it's not the point. The point is, the heist was planned. The heist happened, and the upset occurred. Okay, victory was mine right there. And I can't help that she had to leave. But all I'm saying is, nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible. And at that point in my life, I thought that was impossible. And there's been some things that I'm like, it's impossible. But nothing's impossible. Things happen. You might think, hey, I'm not, how can I do this? How can I do X, Y, and Z? You might think, why me? Why me? Why not you? Why not you? You are in charge of you. You're in charge of your life. Yeah, it's just sort of like being a store next to a Walmart, Walmart comes to town, blah, 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 and you're like, how am I going to do this? It's possible. It's possible. One thing you must do on an everyday basis, every single day, I don't care about anything else. The one thing you must do is be ready to put on your gear and play ball, okay? In order for you to pull off an upset, pull off a coup, you got to be in the arena, folks. You got to play the game. If you ain't playing the game, you got no chance. You got no shot. So do not think nothing's impossible. Don't think, I can't do this, I can't do that. Hey, listen. I watched a lot of sports. I've seen a lot of upsets. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen, you see teams, they got no shot. Everybody has a shot. Come on. You got a shot. You can make it. If you think, I can't be an entrepreneur, I can't create content, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You can do anything. Everything is possible. It's up to you to believe. If you ain't got no belief, if you don't show up every day, it ain't gonna happen. Showing up. Every day I put in the work. Every day I put in the work on this girl. Every day. I had a plan. I had a plot. I must admit this. This is something crazy, funny. It's something funny I think about. I've never, not since, up until my wife, I've never put forth that kind of effort ever again with another woman until I met my wife, which, of course, naturally, when you get married, you have to put in, it's everyday work. And sometimes we fail to realize that, but, you have to be there. You have to be present. You have to be forthcoming. You have to be, ready to play ball. You have to show up to the arena. You have to get in the game. If you're not in the game, coach, it ain't gonna do you any good. We all want $1 million, but how hard are you gonna work to get these $1 million? We all want to be free. We all want to get away from these jobs, but how hard are you gonna work to get away from this job? Are you gonna play entrepreneur? Or are you gonna be an entrepreneur? There's a lot of people playing around. There's a lot of schemes going on. You don't want to be a part of a scheme. Why be a part of a scheme? You can do something for real. You can do something. You can honestly build something. You can honestly grow something. You can make things happen. There's room for everybody, but everybody's not gonna come with you. There's room for everybody to create something. Everybody's not going to create anything, and that's okay. But if you listen to this podcast, then obviously you want to create something. If you listen to this podcast, then you want to make online marketing moves. You want to go somewhere. You don't listen to this podcast for giggles. You know what I mean? You listen to it for a purpose. And so this episode is just about pulling off upsets. If you think, man, this is impossible, I can't do it, go look at just go Google sports upsets and you'll see all kinds. The one I gave you, it's a local example. It's not really, not on a national. Nobody's gonna say, oh yeah, 2017, the Falcons beat the San Francisco 49ers. Go look at. I'll tell you another game that I saw. It was an NCAA tournament one time. It was Princeton versus UCLA. I think UCLA was the defending champs. 1996, I believe. You can look this up. Princeton, they had this coach. He used to do this play called the backdoor cuts. They did a lot of backdoor cuts. You could look this up. It was like a first round matchup. Princeton, underdog, UCLA national champs, coming off winning in '95. They were ready to rock and roll. Princeton came in. They slowed the game down at their own pace. They controlled the game, dictated the game, and boom, ladies and gentlemen, they pulled off an upset. And it was beautiful to watch. I remember I watched that game and I was like, oh, this is very cool. And ladies and gentlemen, for you, it can happen. But the one thing you must do, you gotta show up. Show up and put in the work. We talked about this yesterday on the journey, It's things happen. Everything else you can learn. Marketing, research, all this other stuff you can learn. There's no learning about showing up. There's no learning about being available. There's no learning about putting in the work. If you don't want to work for it, you're not gonna get it. There's no magical pill. There's no magical formula. There's no matter who tells you what. This stuff is not easy. I don't care what you want to do. If you want to make more than what you've made before, if you want to do things that you've never done before, it's gonna be hard. And that's okay. If it's hard, it's hard. But you showing up every day makes things a lot easier. You'll figure everything else. You'll figure out all this stuff, man. You'll figure it out. But you can't figure out the showing up part. Without the showing up, without the putting on the jersey, being ready in the arena, it's never going to happen. And so upsets happen. Let's look at. I'll give you the most. I'm 42 years old, so I've been around a minute. But the biggest upset, the biggest coup ever pulled off in the sports, for me, in my lifetime, is when Mike Tyson got beat by Buster Douglas. Now we all know you can get beat up any day of the week. Blah 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 blah. But Mike Tyson at that time, ladies and gentlemen, 1989, 1990, Mike Tyson was it. He was the biggest name, one of the biggest names on the planet, on the galaxy. Mike Tyson would have had a podcast. It would have been the best in 3 galaxies. But he got beat by Buster Douglas, and Buster Douglas said he put in every day he trained, that was his goal was to beat Mike Tyson. And he beat him, and after that, Buster Douglas, his next fight he lost, but for that one time, for that one match, Buster Douglas was the best boxer on the planet. And he pulled off the coup. He beat Mike Tyson in Japan. Nobody believed it. Nobody watched it either because it was in Japan and people was like, Mike Tyson's going to win again. But he didn't. And so, don't think, oh, I don't know if it's going to happen for me. It can happen. It will happen. You just got to show up every day. You got to put in the work. And I know people cheat. There's a lot of cheaters. There's a lot of liars out there. But your focus is on you. Your focus is not on anybody else. We all know the liars. We all know the cheats. We all see these people cheating for money. This, that, and the other. That stuff's not sustainable, you know. You don't want to be a grifter. You don't want to be one of these people always running from scheme to scheme, scam to scam. Create something that you can do. Create something that you can be control of. Create something that can generate money for you, your family, from now until Timbuktu. Okay, and that's it. And if you think it's not possible, I'm telling you, you're dead wrong. It's possible. Listen. If 15-year-old me who weighed, when I was 15, I probably weighed 110 pounds. 120 at the most. I was 5'6" at the time. At the time of this story, I was 5'6", probably barely 120 pounds. I was skinny, had big glasses. And every day for 3 weeks, I showed up. I had a plan. I put in the work, and I'm telling you, I had it right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, and I laugh about it now. I laugh about it today. I'm like, I put that kind of effort into. I put that kind of, it's one of the things I thought about before I started doing a podcast. I said, if I can put that kind of effort I put in those 3 weeks into this podcast, then we're gonna be A-OK. And ladies and gentlemen, we are A-OK. You know, we have, you know, it's okay. And for you, same thing. I want the same thing. Bring the energy, bring the noise, get ready, shake up the world, shake up the world, shake up the world. This is, I'm telling you, you can do it. You just got to believe in yourself. You got to have a belief system. Confidence comes in and comes out. We all have days where we're like, man, F this, I can't do it. Some days I think about the podcast, I'm like, oh man, who's going to listen today? I've had some days where I can go to, it was some days in the beginning, it was, well, the first, not counting the first month, but there were still times, there were 12 hours, no downloads, you know, and I thought, piss on this, but I come right back the next day, record some more, you know, and I'm gonna shake up the world. I'm gonna shake up the podcast world. I don't know about you, what you're gonna shake up, but shake up something. Pull off a coup, pull off the upset. You can do it. You'll do it. It's just a matter of time. Just keep showing up, and you'll see things happening. All right? But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is it for the podcast. We will be back tomorrow, Monday, with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, shake up the world, shake up the world, shake up the world, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there, do what you got to do. Today is Sunday. Plot, plan, and get ready to pull off the coup of your life. All right? With that being said, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always,